Well, I'm at the stage on the S-10 build where I need to get a piece of plexiglass for the rear window. So I went and picked this up yesterday, and I'm going to try to cut a piece out to fit the truck. I need to go get the original window and lay it on top of it and mark it out so I can cut it. And we'll see if I can successfully do that without screwing it up. Plan is to get a piece of plexiglass and use the back window on here. Due to the fact the bars go through the window, we'll have to cut it out the same size as the original one, and then cut some U's or loops or whatever you want to call it in there, so you can slide the plexiglass up in there. Now I have a back window. I can zip tie this padding down, which needs to be trimmed some more in. I managed to get a pattern cut out. Basically what I did was lay these two boards on there. One there, one there. A knee on each side, and use the death wheel and cut it out. Seemed to work pretty good. Now there's the pattern, and it should be ready to install in the back as soon as I get the weather stripping rubber ready to go. Did a bunch of grinding to get those loops out. See the remnants all over the floor. I just used the aluminum carbide bit and took it real easy. Held on to it real nice and tight while I ground it. Held on to it real tight and then ground where I held on to it. It seemed to work pretty good. I didn't see any cracks or nothing in it, so I hope I can get it in here in a little bit. Well, I successfully managed to install the rear window. Looks like the rubber there is not back where it should be, but there it goes. Anyways, got the rear window in. I goober globbed some silicone around it there, and on the other side. Put the rear windows in. I still need to go probably to the junkyard and got a little piece of rubber that matches this out of another S-10, because when I split it, it pulled out that way. I did stick some silicone around the inside there too, on both sides, and also I zip tied the padding to the roll bar. That way it's positioned where it needs to be. Did that on both sides all the way around. Light in here is not the greatest. Just wanted to pick up glare from outside, but you get the idea. The inside's getting about finished up. Like I showed earlier, got the console and the shifter mounted. Seat's just sitting in there, but all I need to do is bolt it down. Need to grab the other seat over here, take it outside and blow it off with some air because it's got dirt and crud all over it, and bolt it in. One more thing I need to do in here is to mount my gauges, the oil pressure and temperature gauge. I hunted for my copper line that I bought a roll of a while back. To hook up the oil pressure, I probably hunted for that for an hour and a half before I finally remembered where it was. So once the gauges are in, I think I'll put the doors back on. Driver's door is going to go right back on, which is right there. Passenger's door, I'm going to take that outside here in a little bit. There's a little rust spot on the bottom. I'm going to blast that spot and put some Pour 15 on it. And wait for that to dry, then that door will go back on. I think I should be getting a windshield sometime next week. I called the place. They said they had some in stock. I'll get the windshield in, and then after that's finished, I'm going to start finishing up the little tidbits on the engine, which would be cleaning the headers up and painting them, getting them bolted on, distributor cap, plug wires, Other miscellaneous stuff, most everything under here is hooked up. Still need to run a different line here for the fuel. Basically just do all the stuff underneath here, like I mentioned before, the wire loom, that'll be the next major thing, besides getting a radiator fit and a radiator support.